Greetings, my friends. This is Carrie Konyha at holisticspsychic.com in Sedona, Arizona. Thank you so much for joining me today as we take a look at the energies that are showing up for the month of April. First, I'm going to be sharing intuitive insights and messages that I've been receiving around the overall themes regarding the energies of April, and of course, how we can utilize these energies to support our journeys in spiritual awakening, healing, empowerment as usual. Well, let's go ahead and dive in. Welcome back, guys. So I want to start by saying that April is going to be a power surge month in general. We have a lot of energies going on. There's a lot of fire element energies coming into the picture here. And I'm going to blend what's going on astrologically with what the traditional themes around this month are on the shamanic levels. So shamanically speaking, this month is about opening. It's about unfurling, blooming, blossoming. This is the time of year, and this is the month specifically where we are naturally compelled to embrace our dreams, our goals, our visions, our feelings as actual internal potentials that we are capable of realizing or bringing into full manifestation through the power of our intent. In accordance to European shamanism, which can be considered like the old earth-based spirituality ways, this month is connected to the bird hawk. Hawk is about seeing the bigger picture of possibilities. So this invitation to opening that we have, opening into our inner potential, basically, is combined with the support that we have through Hawk in getting a bird's eye view, seeing the big picture. And it's in seeing the big picture that ultimately we're able to focus more clearly on the path ahead. This is a time where there's a lot of uncertainty in the world, a lot of chaos in the world. And this is even more reason for us to utilize the power of our intent, the power of our focus, the power of our attention to practice mastering awareness. And one way that we can do this is connected to staying focused in the here and now on the path that is connected to what we are intending on actualizing, expressing, or manifesting based on these inner potentials connected to our goals and dreams, rather than focusing on the potential obstacles. I'm going to share real quick a really good analogy that I ran across this week online. Somehow I stumbled across like a reel or a short or something where somebody was using the analogy of a person who is skiing. And if you're skiing, especially at a fast speed downhill, it's the difference between, is the skier focusing on the trees, which represent potential blocks, right? The person that I saw online was speaking it in the way of the skier saying, don't hit the trees, don't hit the trees, don't hit the trees. If you're focusing on the potential obstacles, that is what you're going to see. But if instead, using this analogy of the skier, you can say, stay on the path, stay on the path, stay on the path instead, then you're not even going to be aware of the trees. And this is a really good analogy for what we need to be doing right now in our lives. There's a lot of distractions externally around us, changes going on with the government, political type things. There's, violence going on in the world, school shootings, and all of that type of stuff. But we don't want to allow those things to in any way take the wind out of our sails or steal our thunder, right? We want to keep our focus on our path. And it's not about our future path, it's about our right now path. focusing on what's my path right now? What can I do right now that is aligned with my bird's eye view of all that I'm imagining that I want to experience, create, or manifest? It's a lot about now. There's a lot of enthusiastic energy coming in as we're, in full blown in Aries season right now. And so, yeah, we want to really exercise our opportunity to master awareness through keeping our intent focused on those latent potentials that we are in the midst of nurturing into blossoming now. In fact, that brings me to the shamanic energies around this full moon that we have coming up in just a few days. And I am going to upload another video about that. This particular full moon, the full moon of April, this is sometimes called the seeding moon or the blossoming trees moon. So this is a time, again, of blooming or blossoming. Now, the full moon is in Libra, and Libra is all about harmony, balance, and beauty. We're opening into our internal peace and harmony, which is a tool ultimately in magnetizing to us whatever it is that we're intending, right? We're us being in our own internal mind, body, spirit, harmony, flow state in and of itself is a state of being that is conducive to manifestation. And we're talking a lot about manifestation because, again, this is the time of year, the most potent time of year, spring, where whatever intention seeds we set in motion with the power of positive energy, the power of our attention, the power of our awareness, the power of following through with action. These are the things that are going to take root, grab hold, bloom, blossom, and grow with us throughout the remainder of the year ahead. The way that we do this in April is through embracing our natural talents, skills, abilities as tools that enable us to hone in onto that path of deeper soul calling and purpose. Now, with the approaching full moon happening in the sign of Libra, we're all going to be inwardly compelled to aim for growth through pruning away anything that is disrupting that sense of internal flow state. As we know, full moons serve to illuminate our awareness, and they can bring a culmination of whatever the intentions were that we set for ourselves on the new moon. But the full moons are also about clearing away, letting go, and releasing. And what we're clearing away, letting go, and releasing this month with the full moon is in Libra is anything that is not supporting our balance and our harmony. There's a big theme around higher mind also coming in this month with this Uranus conjunction to Venus that we're starting out with, but also with Pluto in Aquarius. Aquarius is also a lot about higher mind, bigger picture thinking in terms of the collective, collaborating, what's best for the greater good, and that type of thing. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that as well. The other significant aspect that I want to talk about that we're coming into the month with is this. We do have a trine aspect happening between Mars in Cancer and Saturn in Pisces. So this is a trine in and of itself, which is like a positive, harmonious energy. Now let's break this down a little bit here. Mars in Cancer is feeding our drive in the direction of things connected to our private life, our feelings, things that are connected to self-nurturing, self-love, matters having to do with our home, finding comfort in our home, while Saturn in Pisces begins to support us in bringing a little bit of a sense of form, structure to what our soul dreams are. So this is a really positive aspect that we're coming into the month with. But if we factor in the transiting north node and south node within this formation, it actually brings us into a unique kite formation. A kite formation happens when you have a grand trine, which we do have if we factor in the south node. So that's a grand trine in water signs, which is very intuitive, very instinctual, dialing us into our sensing, feeling body as well. And then the south node is in opposition, of course, to the north node. But the reason this is really significant right now is because the solar eclipse that we have on the new moon day happening on the 19th and 20th of the month is a north node eclipse. So ultimately, this is very connected to that power surge type of energy, power surge in the direction of what our true, deep soul calling is in regard to what we imagine as being connected to our higher timeline. So that really is a strong theme that's coming in here. Again, I'm going to be chiming in throughout the month with the weekly insights that guide us through step by step. But let's take a look at what else is going on. On April 3rd, Mercury is entering the sign of Taurus and squaring Pluto. This is significant because it's the first aspect to Pluto since Pluto went into Aquarius just a few weeks ago. And when Mercury is in Taurus, one thing that we need to look out for on the lower vibrational level is that we don't get too stubborn in our ways of thinking or what our ideas are. In fact, I'll say this, my intuitive sense around this square to Pluto that is happening with Mercury in Taurus, because Pluto is in Aquarius, Pluto's saying, nope, old ways aren't working anymore. We have to think of new ways of doing things or be open to new ways of doing things. This is like another sphere of theme that's coming in throughout the month is we may find that our old ways, our old habitual ways of doing things are no longer working, and we're being called to being somewhat innovative in our approach to life right now, which I feel this is a good thing. Let me pause and say this here. Now, I am going to be making another video about this Pluto transit because people are asking me to, but I'm going to say this because a lot of people are uncertain around this or are almost sort of like worried about what Pluto is going to bring in. Pluto has been in Capricorn for the past 15 years. Okay, I am a Capricorn and my Capricorn is in my 10th house. So Pluto has been in my sign of long-term goals and career for 15 years. And I can attest to the fact that over the course of the past 15 years, I have only benefited and been blessed in having extreme growth within my long-term career goals, within my development as an intuitive healing practitioner, and all of that. So to me, it feels like the Pluto transiting into Aquarius and what that's going to bring for the next 20 years is going to be beneficial, growth oriented matters. There's nothing to be concerned about. Now, what you can do is take a look at your own natal chart and just look to see what house Capricorn is in and what house Aquarius is in. If I use the example of my chart, Capricorn is in my 10th house, so career, long-term goals, which I've been cultivating over the past 15 years. Now it's going into my 11th house of Aquarius, which is me bringing all of that out into the world and sharing with the collective even more so than I already have been, which I'm actually super excited about and looking forward to. So take a look in your chart to see where the Capricorn house is and the Aquarius house, and this is going to give you an idea of what you're evolving into. Whatever you've been cultivating for the past 15 years is now evolving into another sphere of expression that is going to be colored with Aquarian energies, Aquarian themes, which again are leading edge, innovative, for the collective, greater good of humanity. It's also about networking, socializing, and we have some of these themes beginning to creep into the picture this month. This is just the very tip of the iceberg, so to speak, of, showing us what's to come over the next 20 years. This is the first activation of that. On April 10th, Venus goes into Gemini, which is definitely a more socially interactive energy. We all feel like getting out and about and socializing. The socializing that we feel guided to do mid-month, especially because it's also going to be trining Pluto. So we feel like we want to talk to people, we want to engage with people, we want to learn about other people's opinions and point of views about what's going on globally right now, what's going on politically, what's going on that collective level, but in a way that supports us, intersupports all of us, sharing with each other in ways that help us to remain focused on our paths, as I spoke of earlier, rather than the potential obstacles. This is definitely the way forward right now. We definitely want to really harness the power of our focus, our attention, our intent to stay focused on the path, not the obstacles, not the uncertainties. And the astrology is really supporting us in that right now. On April 15th, the asteroid Vesta, which is connected to spirituality, devotion, and strength, moves into the sign of Taurus, which ultimately is supporting us and bringing a sense of solid foundation or structure in which to build our goals and dreams on. On April 19th, of course, we have the big new moon solar eclipse. The new moon is going to be in Aries, and it's a north node eclipse, which means the awakenings that we have with this eclipse ultimately are supporting us and stepping more into our higher path, as I spoke of earlier. This is where that big power surge comes in. This solar eclipse is going to be a power surge. In order to utilize the energy that's available to us with this eclipse in the best way, it's important to know exactly what it is that you're aiming for in your life right now, what your intentions are. The next day, on the 20th, the sun goes into Taurus. Taurus is an earth sign. It's grounded, it's centered, it's methodical, it's stable. It supports us in establishing those foundations for growth, as I spoke of earlier. But on that day, as the sun moves into Taurus, it is making another square to Pluto. So again, we do have that stable, grounded energy that's supporting foundations, but we're being asked to kind of stretch beyond our comfort zones and create those foundations in ways that maybe are new to us or different to us. Maybe we're stretching into utilizing skills that we have a new sense of mastery over in order to establish those foundations. All of these transits to Pluto that are coming in, I really feel are talking a lot about expanded awarenesses and exploring new avenues or new ways of doing things. And in doing that, ultimately, that's only going to support our sense of inner self-confidence and hence motivation. Mercury does go retrograde in Taurus on the 21st, which brings an end to the past almost 2 months where everything has been direct. However, let's remember that retrogrades basically support us in having like reflection and introspection. So although we have this motivation to establish foundations and structures to build our goals and dreams on, we're not necessarily going to be leaping into the action of that right away because Mercury is retrograde, but this is a time to get those mental structures in place, right? Maybe making outlines, taking notes, sketching out plans, journaling, those types of things that, we're bringing structure on the idea level. And then as Mercury goes direct again in about 3.5 weeks is when we're going to feel like we can start really implementing those things a little bit more. Now, that doesn't mean that we're not making any headway in actualizing things, but it is a time of reflecting and really getting clear mentally around exactly what our strategy is or our plan is. So here in this video, I'm just really touching upon the big points that are happening throughout the month. There's minor aspects that are showing up as well, but let's stay focused on the soul evolution opportunities here. And with these energies, with the elements that are coming in, which is a lot of fire, some water, and some air, this is basically the lower three chakras. And here, I've got my little chakra thing right here. So root chakra, sacral plexus, and solar plexus chakra. Root chakra is getting grounded, establishing those foundations, holding a magnetized space with our sensing, feeling body, tapping into ourselves on that level, tapping into that inner potential and holding space on those inner energetic, emotionally magnetic ways, and then leaping into or streamlining our will, our intent in the direction of what our biggest enthusiasms are, ultimately is what's paving the way of us taking steps on that path as we progress through the next month or so here. So stay tuned. I'm going to be uploading a video in the next few days about the full moon. I'm going to be incorporating the tarot within the full moon reading and the new moon solar eclipse reading as well. Be sure to connect with me on my other social media pages if you haven't yet. I'm on Instagram at Carrie Konyha, and my page on Facebook is Holistic Psychic. So, okay, guys, love you all. Blessings. Namaste. I'm going to see you around the corner for the full moon video. Take care. Until then, all my love.